Oh, hello everybody. We are back.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, we've been on hiatus since May 2nd. I hope you've enjoyed the reruns of Mr. Ed while in the interim. I'm Joe Cioffi, Fios 1 News, Long Island, and Fios 1 News, New Jersey. Wilbur.
Hi, I'm Joe Rayo, Fios 1 News, Lower Hudson Valley.
That's correct.
Yes.
And this is the Joe and Joe Weather Show. I had some technical issues with Facebook. There was something going on with my page where I couldn't go live. It took a month to resolve. It's resolved. I was doing it on YouTube. We were doing it on YouTube for a bit. Now we're back to Facebook. So we're here. Let me just announce something really quick. I started doing this last week, and it seems to be working quite well. So I just want to let everybody know in the morning, I'm doing a quick live stream called Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. So just be sure to watch for that. Usually it'll post up sometime between 8 and 9 a.m. It's a quick rundown of what to expect for the weather for the day ahead and for the next 5 days. It's fast, it's to the point, and you could either watch it on Facebook or you could watch it on my weather app.
You know, when I wake up in the morning, my wife looks at her iPad and says, "You want to hear what Joe said today?" That little message always waits for us first thing in the morning.
Yes, and you know your wife. You know how I adore her.
Well, she's a big fan.
She is. She's wonderful.
Yes.
She bakes the best brownies and the best cookies too, and nobody can fix a lawnmower better than she can.
It's true. Yes.
All right, let's rock and roll here as we take a look at what's happening. Mr. Rayo, I have the eastern satellite view.
Yes.
Because we have some clouds that have stuck down from the north, but they aren't really problematic, at least from what I can see.
There was quite a bit of rain and shower activity over, places, let's say, from about Kingston and Albany north.
Right, north of Binghamton, Rome, New York. Well, I saw most places either had cloudy or just light rain. I just wonder how much of that actually even made it to the ground, but it's of no real consequence here.
We're getting brushed in the lower Hudson Valley by some of those clouds, and that's associated with the warm front that is now stretched out to our north, and warmer and also a bit more humid air beginning to filter in on southwesterly winds.
Right, those clouds that you see out in western Pennsylvania and in Ohio on the edge of the picture there, those will probably come in around daybreak. I did not include the chance of a shower, although a sprinkle is not impossible tomorrow morning between, say, 4 or 5 a.m. and about 7 or 8 a.m. before we go partly sunny.
You know, it's a funny thing you mention that because on the forecast yesterday for tonight, I remember I went partly to mostly cloudy with a chance, slight as it was, for a late night shower. And now I changed my mind today and just simply went clear to partly cloudy. So take your choice. Clouds, yeah, maybe a sprinkle or a spit here and there overnight, but the main batch of precipitation is probably going to be waiting for us later tomorrow afternoon and on into tomorrow night.
We had bone dry air today, dew points in the 40s, temperatures up in the low 70s. So yesterday the same, although yesterday most places didn't get out of the 60s. It was 2 very delightful, wonderfully pleasant days for early June.
Yes, but Montgomery this morning, people waking up in parts of Orange County, upper 30s, 39 degrees this morning. I mean, it is, after all, the 4th day of June. 39 degrees.
Yeah, I know. Well, but it'll be a memory to grasp on those nights when it can't get below 70.
Absolutely.
So here's the way the surface map looked at 5 o'clock this evening, and you can see there's this sort of snaking stationary. I sometimes wonder how they analyze these things as well as they do.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but you got this sort of snaking
look how they drew that boundary zone, almost matching the contour for Lake Michigan.
Yeah. And then there's this warm front that is moving across Iowa and Missouri, and there's a definite difference between the air that's ahead of it because the temperatures actually don't change very much. It's the dew points. As the dew points are all in the 50s and 40s ahead of it, in Ohio and Indiana, and then you jump to the other side of that warm front, and you've got dew points that are running in the up mid 60s to low 70s, and that's where your shower and thunderstorm activity is occurring. And this cold front that you see up now in northern Minnesota and through North Dakota, that is our weather front that's heading here for tomorrow night and early Thursday. I thought that we could wind up with some thunderstorms, and that we might see more rain out of it in terms of an outcome, as opposed to say severe weather, gusty winds.
Yeah.
This might be more of a potential flooding producer if somebody winds up with a couple of inches of rain out of it.
Well, the Storm Prediction Center have been watching this, and I remember on day 4 over the weekend, which would be tomorrow, they did have a zone of possible severe weather across Kentucky and the Virginias, and slowly but surely, with the passage of time, they've been expanding that slight risk of possible severe weather. Now it's made its way all the way up into extreme southern Pennsylvania and Maryland, and just about knocking at the doorstep of Delaware. So you have to wonder whether or not tomorrow, whomever's in charge today who was it? It was Gleason.
Right,
I didn't
Jackie.
know Jackie was there.
I know.
Gleason, Mr. Gleason at the Storm Prediction Center, whether or not, if he's on duty tomorrow, whether or not he decides to expand.
Well, maybe
that a little bit
Norton's
more.
on day shift tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they may push that marginal risk up to about Long Island and maybe touching southern New England. I don't know about the slight risk, but I think the marginal risk might get nudged up a little bit further to the northeast. Either way, there might be some of the thunderstorms that might develop out of this tomorrow afternoon, late tomorrow afternoon and evening, could produce. And I think the bulk of the daytime tomorrow, Joe, after whatever clouds we get tomorrow morning, I think we should go partly sunny fairly quickly and stay that way at least until the middle part of the afternoon.
And I think we could see temperatures now. I was thinking earlier today that readings may, in the Hudson Valley, move slowly upward through the 70s to near 80, but I changed my mind now, and I'm thinking now that we could see easily by mid-afternoon with enough sunshine in the Hudson Valley, 80, maybe even 85, which is a stark change from what we've had these past couple of days.
Yeah, I think the same for warm spots on Long Island could get to low 80s. Jersey could see low to mid 80s tomorrow. There's your rain in upstate New York. It's getting into that very dry air, and it's just getting torn apart at this point as it moves southeast. So no problems there. And you got a couple of showers in eastern Ohio. That's really where the warmer air, the boundary zone is. So that's whatever we get. That's what we'll probably see here tomorrow morning for a few hours. And then we wait for the stuff that's back out right now. This is with the cold front up in Wisconsin and Minnesota. SPC has an enhanced risk of severe weather up here, and some of that is actually playing out in terms of what you see on the radar.
Has it stopped snowing up there yet?
It's actually quite warm all the way up there. It's up into the 80s. And you've also had some showers and thunderstorms from Missouri on southward, and we also have along the Texas Gulf Coast some rain. It's actually diminished quite a bit from what was there earlier. This is the disturbed weather that the Hurricane Center has been following for, well, I mean, probably the last 5 days now, and it never really got going. So it's run out of time. And in fact, there's a little bit of shearing going on. You got a bit of a southwest wind in the upper atmosphere kind of blowing those cloud tops away to the northeast. So they're still carrying, I think, a 20% chance of development from what I saw earlier. Maybe they knocked it down even more.
Right.
I don't think you're going to get anything out of this. The moisture, however, is going to wind up going into the Gulf states, and maybe some of that gets up here early next week, the way I'm looking at it, as far as the next 4 or 5 days are
So it
concerned.
doesn't look like that's going to be Barry.
No.
That's our B storm.
Right, we'll just have to wait. Now, Joe, I was thinking, which is a novel concept in and of itself, but looking at the upper air, I thought that there was a fair chance here, waiting for all the maps to load up and then just run it backwards. I thought there was a fair chance that as this upper trough that brought the cool shot of air, it's a pretty deep trough there down the East Coast, that lifts out. We've got this upper ridge that's going to be building from Virginia to Wisconsin. That's going to pin the next system in the southern plains and hold it back for a while. I think there's a fair chance that this frontal boundary gets pushed far enough south and that higher pressures from Canada build down far enough south that we could wind up with a decent weekend and actually a nice stretch of weather that would start on Friday and last until Monday.
I think so. My only concern would be that initially some of that moisture from that closed system, or attempting to close off over the Arkansas, Missouri area, that some of that might fire north and eastward, go over the ridge.
Like like blow-off tops,
yeah,
thunderstorms.
Dirtying the ridge up to a degree, and that we might see some of that cloud cover during the day on Friday. And then I think the ridge will strengthen a little bit and push everything back south. And so I think Saturday looks like a fantastic day, beach-wise or barbecue-wise or whatever. And then maybe a little bit of that moisture makes a little bit of a comeback on Sunday. Then we start clouding over a little bit more on Monday.
Right.
But we don't really see anything in terms of precipitation after we get past, let's say, midday on Thursday. The next chance of any significant precip here, I think, won't come until next Tuesday.
And I agree with you. I mean, this next high to the north, one thing that it does is it's going to keep things from getting hot around here. It can't get hot in a pattern like this.
Right.
We got this surface high that's pushing down. You do have a bit of an onshore flow, but it's not a moisture-laden onshore flow, so I'm not really worried about low clouds rolling in from off the ocean, unless they just come in right along the immediate coast at night and then just pull out, burn off during the early morning hours. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty decent. And then the high eventually actually drops off the New Jersey coast, which I would guess favors it more. But I can understand where you're getting at with these blow-off clouds from the storms into the west, because they are going to line up along and east of the Mississippi River. So you could possibly see some of that cloud cover just sort of blow off from there.
And also it's paranoia. After being in the business, you and I each for 40 some odd years, you start saying to yourself on a Tuesday, you start promising in the summertime a great weekend. And then all of a sudden, about Thursday or Friday, you start seeing little things that start, the dike, so to speak. You start seeing cracks in the dike, and you start seeing little things that you didn't see 2 days ago, like this system coming in and bringing a few clouds here and a few clouds there or whatever. So I'm a little leery about making a promise of a great weekend this far in advance, but it does look like right now that we're in good shape. So far, over the last month and a half, it's been more or less 50-50. I mean, one weekend day has been nice, the other not so nice. Hopefully we'll be able to get both of these nice weekend days in.
I hope so. David Schwartz, I haven't been out fishing once yet. My days have been so busy lately, but maybe this weekend I might be able to do that. Wayne, Tony, Anthony Robertson, yes, we're back on. The show's back here. And we'll be here on a, let's call it a semi-regular basis, schedules permitting for both of us. Alicia Denise Lodestro, tomorrow is the school picnic. Starts at 9:30 till 2:30. What are the chances for rain in Staten Island?
I would say you're going to get a good part of that picnic in with dry conditions, unless we get one of these renegade pop-up showers that pop up out of nowhere around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because I think, as we both agree, the bulk of the precipitation tomorrow probably waits until after 3 or 4 o'clock. So I'd say you're in fine shape for that.
Yeah, I could kind of go along with that. I think the odds are in your favor that the day side from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. will probably be
and it may start off a bit on the cloudy side, perhaps at 9 a.m., but it should turn out to be brighter and sunnier, I think, and warmer by midday and early afternoon.
We have hellos from Corey Bodziak, Phil Demore, and your buddy Dennis Cassia,
whose wife just got a special award. They're both into firefighting. Dennis has been a long-time firefighter. I think he's retired now, but his wife has just gotten an award and just had a birthday too. So.
Very nice. Oh, my buddy Joe Alloy just jumped on. Jason Barry is here, and also Bill Hausman, William Uber, Susan DeAngelis, and hopefully, it's hard for me to get everybody. I always feel bad if I start saying hi to Stephen Franco. I got to say hi to Meryl Jean, and I think, I forgot this person, and I don't like to hurt anyone's feelings. So look, a collective hello. If I didn't get you this time, we'll definitely I'll get you the next time.
I mean, we're able to do this at this time of the year because, as we have seen over the long run when we've done this, whenever a major, let's say, winter storm comes our way, there are literally hundreds of people.
Right.
And when there's no weather really to speak of any significance, we have a couple of dozen here tonight.
Exactly,
So.
which is fine, and we enjoy it very much. All right, there's not really too much else going on, so I think we could wrap it up at this point. So Mr. Rayo will be on at the top of the hour at FiOS 1 News Lower Hudson Valley.
And Mr. Cioffi will be on both on Long Island, FiOS 1 News Long Island, and also FiOS 1 News New Jersey. And
Joe and I will be back tomorrow. I'm just reminded on the side that Saturday is the 151st running of the Belmont Stakes. So if you are headed to Belmont Park, there's no Triple Crown. But it's a race-packed day with Grade 1 races, including the Met Mile and the Ogden Phipps, the Just a Game. I'm trying to remember all the stakes that run on that day. The Woody Stevens, I think, also runs on that day. And
so now, is the horse...
The Brooklyn?
Is the
at
horse
a mile and a half?
Is the horse that won on the disqualification in the Kentucky Derby? Is he running on?
I don't know. I didn't even look to see what the field was. So you know what? We'll touch on that tomorrow.
And
but it should be fast and firm with no rain issues. I can't imagine even Thursday's rain would. By the time we get to Saturday, the turf course should be no worse than good and more than likely firm. And the main track. Will be fast. Although if you're going Friday, because Friday's a big day too at Belmont. The day before they also have a bunch of solid stakes races. It might be good at the start and go to fast.
The only time I've ever been to a racetrack was Belmont, and I was living on Long Island. I was living in Franklin Square at the time, and the only reason why I went is because my wife said she read in the paper that day, it was a Saturday, and don't ask me what the date was or the year.
It was a freebie day?
No, they were giving away bright yellow and green towels. It said, Belmont Park, I won. I still think we have one of those towels.
Well, you know what? You should go to Saratoga. You should go drive up when they go to Saratoga later in July and August and do a day trip up there. It's a lot of fun. I've done it on and off over the last 15 years.
And I remember...
I enjoy it greatly.
And I remember I attended a weather convention, I think it was back around 2005 or 6 or whatever like that. It was in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, the convention was in October.
Oh, nice.
It was in October. And I remember taking a cab on the way back to the airport on my way home, and the cab driver said, he's asking me, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you seen the Louisville Bat Company or whatever? And this, that. He said, have you seen the racetrack? And I said, no, I haven't. He says, would you like to see it? I said, I don't know, do we have the time? Is it going to cost me extra? No problem. And he takes me right past Churchill Downs.
Nice.
Right? And he points at it, and then he looks at me and says, this were the first weekend in May, you couldn't get one in 20 miles.
I bet you probably couldn't. All right, folks, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Night.